My website, Coupa.app, has been launched, and then I received some requests, inquiries, more accurately, from actually college counselors. There's some questions, and then I figure maybe it's a good idea to just share with everybody. Um, First of all, there are several market out there. The first one, it's basically in California, at least, the majority of the counselors, they are hired by school district. So they are the public employees, and then of course, they are associated with the different schools. They're assigned to different schools, but their employer is a district. Okay, so anything that you need to, anytime you want to approach them, you have to go through the bureaucracy. Okay, that's not the biggest thing. The biggest thing is that they are the public employee. They're not supposed to endorse any particular project or program, especially the paid one. Okay, even which is paid $1, or each month, that would still be paid because there are some families they can't even or not even willing to spend $1 on college counseling, on admissions counseling. So that would basically, they're not public school counselors are not strictly off limit. You know, they can still join the ACOPA, they can still join the college diary, and just like they can join the LinkedIn, right? However, they're not supposed to be promoting it because they don't want to create the impression that they are endorsing any private paid program. So that's why we facing the big challenges. Okay, but then there's another one. There's another small market that um, the
Yeah, Highway Patrol on behalf of the Antioch Police Department. ENAYATULLAH Rahimi is missing and endangered.
some emergency that is through the my phone. But anyway, just talk about this, and then there's another small market. That basically means that the independent and the Catholic school, there's just one gatekeeper. Okay, because the college, the parents are paying like 25,000 or all the way to $60,000 tuition. So if a COPA we're asking for, let's say, the gold membership, it's basically $910 each month. So that's compared to nothing. And then there's another thing. There's another possibility is that if you talk to the director of college counseling of the each uh, Catholic independent schools, and then if they like it, it's basically you can basically open yourself up to all the parents, okay, who their kids are going to independent and the Catholic schools. But probably the biggest market is something called the IECA, which stands for Independent Education Counselors Association. Consultant, I'm sorry, not counselor, consultant. So the problem that we even have this IECA existing is because one thing, in California public schools, on average, 463 students only have one counselor. Okay, so that's the simple math like that. You just the counselor just that they are totally swamped. Okay, they just have the caseload is too big. So that's why some parents, especially two kinds of parents. Number one, they are wealthy. Number two, they are motivated. Okay, so they are hiring IECA, Independent Education Consultant, and then to be their kids consultant, right? For college, well, we have a different market with some IEC maybe working for kindergarten to grade 12, K to 12. That placement, that also part of it, a part of their job, but a bigger chunk of it is the college admission. Okay, so because, like I said, because the severe high caseload for public school counselors, these people are existing because they have a much smaller caseload. That's why it's not a good idea to say, "Hey, we can help you to get more people, to get more students, increase caseload." Why? Because one of the slogan is that we are only working for 20 to 60 families. Okay, so that's the selling point. You don't want to, uh, affecting or changing that image. However, we can work with them to get them more directly into this significant market. The irony is that I create this college diary primarily because I want to level the playing field. I want to help the middle class families who does not or is not willing to spend $1,000. Okay, that's what basically they are paying, like up to 250 $25,000 per kid, right? For to hiring the independent education consultant. So my initial motivation is to help others who cannot afford and not willing to spend that much money. Then they have some valid alternative. Okay. However, you have to face the reality. The market is very real. Especially when the new thing, totally new thing, and nobody knows about it, and it is so new that not even existed this anywhere else. So in that case, people, it's not like you have a quality problem. You have a provenance problem to prove that your stuff is better than the existing system. Okay, so that way, in order to expand the market, you really have to work with the families, parents who are motivated, who have some extra money to spend or willing to spend that extra money on their kids. And then we can gradually expand the market. So that's the irony that I'm thinking about. Okay, so let's stop here. We'll talk about the next time.